Hey, morning everyone. Morning. Apart from Alex, I'm the other guy who has no PhD among the speakers. Okay, all right. So my name is AG, and I come from the Philippines. So for those who are not too familiar with the Philippines, well, apart from Manny Pacquiao, who's probably the most famous Filipino now, we're from Asia. Okay. Okay. As you see there, Asia. We are located at the western edge of the Pacific Ocean. Okay, and what does that say about the geographic location of the Philippines? It could only mean one thing when we talk about climate, which is we get the most powerful storms every single year. Okay, I'm now 43 years old, and imagine we encounter about 21 storms per year. Multiply that by 40. That's how many storms I had to endure in my lifetime. This photo is a satellite photo that shows that we don't get single storms at any given time. We get 2 storms in one picture like that, sometimes 3. Okay. One of the most recent powerful storms was Typhoon Mangkut. It happened last year. And it reached sustained winds of about 250, 260 kilometers per hour. Okay, and as you see in the picture, it's even bigger than my country. So imagine the power of that storm. Okay, I'd like to show you one quick graph which shows that in the post-war era, the late 1940s, we only had storms that would hit 240 kph. That was the most powerful back then. We didn't have category 4s or 5s back then, but Typhoon Haiyan was off the charts. And for any climate scientists or climate activists, Typhoon Haiyan is like a staple conversation because it's the most powerful storm ever recorded in human history. And it doesn't only threaten us on a daily basis, it threatens our very way of life. Okay? And I'd like to introduce you to 3 humans of Tacloban. Tacloban City was the ground zero of Super Typhoon Haiyan. And I was there before, during and after. Okay, I was on a photo assignment for RARE, heading to an island called Camotes Island, which is one of the most resilient communities in the Philippines when it comes to climate change. And before I went there, I went first to my father's hometown, which is Tacloban City, to meet some people. One of my best friends there named Agit. I'll show a picture of him a bit later. This is Uncle James. Say hello to Uncle James. And Aunt Bella. Okay. Uncle James is a cousin of my father. So I was with him and his lovely wife a few hours before Super Typhoon Haiyan hit Tacloban City. Okay. Next up is Agit. That's my friend Agit with his beautiful family. He's a good friend of mine. We played music together. We painted together. We had a lot of adventures together. And the third human of Tacloban that I'd like to introduce you is a guy named Yeb. He used to be the climate negotiator, the lead climate negotiator of the Philippines. Okay? He was there since the beginning, and every single COP, he was there to basically to fight for the Philippines. Okay? Okay, so Super Typhoon Haiyan hit my father's hometown while I was there, and I wouldn't tell you much about how I experienced and I got through the ordeal, but there was one moment when I was praying. And the prayer was not about for God to save me. Okay, I was praying that I hope my family would find my body in the ruins once the building collapses, because the building was shaking for 2 hours. And I didn't know if it will hold, because it was an old building where I was trapped. Okay, this is a picture of the typhoon. And I tell you, if you haven't been to one before, it's not a good place to be in. Okay. The picture here shows you the power, the intensity of the storm based on the red color. Okay, I could remember that there were people inside the building who were trapped as well, and we had to go to the 3rd floor because the ground level was already inundated, and we could not escape. Right after the typhoon, I had to go out and find my way to the capital to find communication lines so I could tell my family that I survived. Since I had a camera with me, I was able to take pictures of the aftermath, and I could remember seeing a lot of bodies, dead bodies, right outside of the building where I was. I took pictures, then I ended up being in the team gathering the dead bodies because there were not a lot of people who were able to survive to help out. I took a lot of pictures then, but after the 6th day, I lost all my belongings. It was really chaotic, and I lost everything, including my camera and my hard drive. But exactly a month after, somebody recovered my bag, and I was able to recover all the photographs. And up to now, I haven't shown much of these photographs to the world. Some of them will be shown for the first time here. Okay, I didn't take a look at the photographs because I was so traumatized by what I saw. So this is the first minute. I had to look out and see that the other buildings were being submerged already. The 3rd floor where people huddled. And then the storm surge that ran over the city was practically the same level as the ocean. Everything was in ruins, and people didn't know where they would go. They were kept on walking northwards, southwards, eastwards, westwards. And people, even good people, were trying to loot and destroy establishments just to be able to get water and milk and food for their families. My team had 12 body bags in the first day, and we had to fit 4 children in 1 body bag just to get them to the place where we had to lay them down. This is one of the most significant photos that I took. It's a selfie, basically. I was on a truck with the driver, and that's a dump truck. Normally, you'd put rocks on a dump truck. And when you have to dump the truck, the contents, you have to push a button so that the back would go up. And right there, you see the back. The driver was asking me on this very moment if what we're doing was right, because we were dumping about 27 dead bodies. And that was the lowest part of my life. My friend Agit and his family totally perished. They didn't survive. And on the 3rd day, I found out that he died along with his family. And significantly, also on the same day, I found out that my brother was given the plenary to speak in the United Nations COP 19 to tell the world about what was happening in our father's hometown. Yeb is my brother. And he said that he was agonizing because he didn't know yet what was happening, and he didn't know at that moment if our relatives were found alive already. And he got the support of the whole world, and he rallied on. Together with me, we walked thousands of kilometers in the Philippines and in Europe to get the message across that we need to do something about this. We walked from Rome to Paris in time for the Paris Agreement to be there with the other activists from all over the world to push our world leaders and negotiators to act. And we kept on walking and walking. And as we walked, we met with thousands of people in communities across Europe. And as an artist, I painted a lot of murals together with the community about climate justice. And even if we were not used to cold weather, we had to walk through the snow during winter. And we met a lot of leaders, and we were given more platforms to speak about our plight. And I painted my friend Agit in Paris during COP 21. And today I invite all of you to have a moment with me. An art session is set up outside. We can paint together, and we can have ownership of the message together, that we're here not to sulk, we're not here to focus on the bad, but we can do something together and help the world change. Okay? Uncle James survived Super Typhoon Haiyan, but a couple of summers later, the heat was too much for him in the Philippines, and he had a stroke, and he just fell down and died. But not just him. Coral reefs all over the Philippines are dying, and if you don't do something about it now, millions and millions of people will keep on suffering. So thank you very much for lending me your ear. Thank you.